Natalie? David the prophet, pretty much, okay? So the Psalms are parts of nice emotions that were expressed by David the prophet to God. And if you read the Psalms, you will see how much it pertains to all of us. Okay? So the first Psalm, it says, blessed is the man who does not sit in the seat of the scornful, does not walk in the way of the unrighteous, and so on. So let us put all bits and pieces together. And then another psalm would say, I cried out to the Lord. Okay, you hear my prayers. Oh Lord, be with me, help me, and so on. So we have so many psalms. But then there are parts of the psalms that are having a prophecy. Who knows what's a prophecy? What is a prophecy? Huh? Vicky, what is a prophecy? Okay, who knows what is a prophecy? Gentlemen, can you tell me what's a prophecy? It's something that tells us about things that will happen in the future. Okay? So somebody prophesied about a certain thing. So there has been so many prophecies within the body of the Psalms that were written by David the prophet that tells us about the Savior who is coming, Christ our Lord, Saint Mary, the Messiah, Virgin Mary. Okay? Or God. God is Jesus. That's right. Okay? So basically, when you look at the Psalms, we don't say it's an Old Testament thing that we don't use anymore because we're Christians and the Old Testament pertains to the Jews. That's not right. Because if you look at the Old Testament and the New Testament, God is the same. Nothing has changed. Whatever God said in the Old Testament continued on in the New Testament. Okay? So, there has been so many stories in the Old Testament. And I just want to touch base with you on one story. Who is the most successful man that God was with him all the time in the Old Testament? Hey, David. Who? John? No, in the Old Testament, who is the most successful person? Hey, Joyce. Joy. Moses, okay. Hey, Gabby. Abraham. Okay. These are all successful people. But there was one that made a difference, not just in the society or the community around him, but in the world. Melania. Noah? Okay, yeah, he's also one. Hi, Vicky. Okay. Holy. David. Okay. Samuel. Solomon. Okay. Stephen. Joseph. Joseph. Why? Because the Bible tells us, and God was with Joseph, and Joseph was a successful man. Let us stop here. We all know the story of Joseph. How many of you know the story of Joseph? Raise your hands. Bravo. So we know the story of Joseph. He was raised, he's the son of Jacob. And he got how many brothers? Who knows? How many brothers? No, he was number 11. So there were two sisters. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Jacob, he went after he deceived his brother Esau. He escaped and he went to his uncle Laban. And then he loved his daughter, the younger one, okay, Rachel. And he said, I want to marry Rachel. What goes around comes around. He deceived his brother, so his uncle deceived him. He said, sure, I'll let you marry my younger one. But you know what? You have to work for me 7 years, and then I'll give you Rachel to marry. He kept working hard, working hard, working hard, And then when he married, he did not find Rachel, but he found her older sister, Leah. He went to his uncle. You deceived me. He said, well, you want to marry? Because I cannot let the older one wait and the second one marries. It has to be the oldest one first. He said, so what do? I want to marry Rachel. He said, 7 more years. So he worked 7 more years, very hard. And he got to marry Rachel. Now, Leah had 10 sons. Rachel had 2 sons. But Rachel, she didn't live for long. Okay? So now the father, Jacob, loved Joseph. He's the firstborn of Rachel. He loved her so much, and he loved her sons. Joseph was very polite boy. And I want you to listen to this because I'm sure you see these things in school. Joseph was a very polite boy, loved everybody. And by the age of 17, his dad sent him to check on his brothers and to carry food with him. But the brothers, the older 10, they were so jealous of him. And I'm going to stop here for a moment. Why would a brother be jealous of his brother? Is this right or wrong? No, it's not right. When a person is jealous of his brother, that's not right, because jealousy is nothing, it's not nice. So what happened is they got jealous of him for no reason. And sometimes I think about this a lot, because when you are in school, you're a polite kid, you're a smart kid, you're a decent boy or girl, you do your best, and all of a sudden, what do you see from the kids around you? They're jealous of you. What did you ask yourself the first question, what did I do? I didn't do anything. I was so nice to them. They're not nice to me. I was trying to help them. Yes, Habibi. Okay? So you try to be nice to please everybody, but not everybody is nice to you. And that's what jealousy is coming from. And then Joseph, because his brothers, تعال Mark, I want you to sit up front, Habibi, please. Leave the ball. Up front. So now Joseph, they had a bad plan against him. They said, let's get rid of him and let's lie to our dad and say that he did not survive because one of the wild animals ate him up. So he got one brother who really didn't like it. He said, no, let's not do anything that far. So he was planning, how about if we throw him into this well? Let's throw him into that well. Let's go to Dad. Okay, but in the back of his mind, he wanted to save his brother and bring him back to his father. But when he came back, he didn't find Joseph. Why? His brothers sold him as a slave. You know what's a slave? You sell him for a little bit of money, and he is abused 24/7. Do this, do that, do this. And if he doesn't, people abuse him badly. That was how slavery was like. But they took him and they sold him to a pharaoh in Egypt. The pharaoh liked him. Listen, but from this point, I want you to pay careful attention. He went to Egypt, different country, different language. It is far away. Yes, that's right. And it's not just far away, but it's also, they speak different language. Yes. معلش تقرب شوية يا حبيبي عشان مش سامعك. Yes, Benjamin. The younger one was Benjamin. But he was a really little kid. But Joseph, he was 17. He was sold as a slave when he was 17. That's almost high school age. And then the wife of the Pharaoh, she accused him that he was not a good boy. And she accused him to a point she insisted to put him in jail. Why? Because he was pure. He didn't do anything wrong. So there was not just his brothers that got jealous of him, but also the wife of his master. What did she do? She accused him of something he never done. But he was so honest. Very honest. He said, I never done anything like this. Yes, you did. People love it when they lie. And people sometimes think they can get away with lies. And that's exactly what happened with Joseph for the second time in his life. The brothers went back to his father. Oh, father, oh, we're sorry. You know what happened to Joseph? Oh, look at his garment. The beautiful garment you got him. Look at it. An animal attacked him, and he's no longer with us. So the father cried and cried and cried, and he couldn't get over this. They didn't care. Now, oh, we got rid of him. That's what they think. Now he went to Egypt. Nothing he was done. He was thrown in jail. How many years did he spend in jail? 13 years, until he was 30. That's a long time. And he's a slave. He's trying to defend himself. I didn't do anything. Oh, yes, you did. The wife of Potiphar wouldn't lie. We believe her. She's in power. And that's something we all go through a lot. Sometimes you get accused of things you haven't done. You go to school, all of a sudden some kids, they might come up and say, oh, I saw you cheat, but you didn't cheat. No, I saw you cheat, but I didn't. No matter what you try to say, David and David, can you separate? Come up front, please. Thank you. So now, for the second time, he pays the price for something he hasn't done. So now remember, he's in a different land than his own home, talking a different language, which he had no idea of, away from his father, his family members, accused falsely of something he've never done. But then, there is one point we always ignore about Joseph. He never bent down or changed his mind. He could have lied and said, you know what? Yeah, I did it. Let me go. Or if I say or if I confess falsely. He wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't break God's commandment no matter what. Then, after 13 years, we know the story of the dreams that the Pharaoh had. And before the Pharaoh, he got the butler and the baker. Butler is the one who always prepared the wine and the drinks for the king, for the Pharaoh. And the baker was the one that always baked, the pastries and bread and stuff. And they gave it and they offered it to Pharaoh. But both of them were imprisoned. And both of them had similar dreams in one day. So they said, I had a dream last night. I had a dream that there were 3 branches all of a sudden came up and they started growing and the birds came and started eating Or the other one said, similar one, oh, I had almost same dream, but I had three branches, but the birds came and started tearing it from the top of my head. What does that mean? So Joseph said, God has given me the chance to explain dreams. He told the butler, in 3 days, the 3 branches are 3 days, and it's going to grow big, and it's going to improve. It means that you're going to be released from the prison in 3 days. So he got happy. He said, I hope so. I hope you're right. The other one said, but mine were eaten by the birds. He said, because in 3 days, you will also be released from prison, but you're not going to make it. You're going to be punished. He was so angry. Why would David say that? Why would Joseph say that? But it happened. So when the first one was released, Joseph told him, if you appear in front of Pharaoh, just remind him of me. The man forgot him 2 more years. He never mentioned him. So by the time he came out of prison, he was already 30 years old, from 17 to 30. عارفين يعني 13 years in jail. يعني by the time you're done with your kindergarten, first grade, second grade, 12 years of education up to high school, and Joseph is still in prison. يعني as you go to school for 12, 13 years to graduate from high school, he went to prison 12 to 13 years. But God was with him. He hasn't done anything to be punished for, but God was with him. God prepared him in those 13 years to come out full of wisdom, full of good relationship with God. And this is something that annoys us. We go to school, we don't find any acceptance from the kids around us. We come back home angry and upset and very sad, and we feel that we are willing to do anything to make some friends. So if our friends talk to us about wrong ideas, oh yes, I'll do it. Why? Oh, just to make her a friend or make him a friend. Just to fit in within that group. Yes, Vicky? No, anything bad we don't do. We only do what is right, what God taught us. Okay? That's a very good point. So now, when you look at it, that is exactly the same life story of each one of you. But at least you are in your hometown. You are with your parents. You are with many similar children like you. You're not isolated in a different country, different language. What happened to Joseph is like kidnapping him. But for 13 years, God prepared him. So put it to yourself this way. You go to school, God prepares you to be a witness to him. God prepares you to look at the wrong things and you say no. You back off. You don't participate in anything that is bad. Why? God is preparing you to be strong, standing on a solid ground, to be able to say no to anything that is wrong. Okay? But you don't follow the inappropriate behaviors or inappropriate ideologies or ideas. You see? Now, 2 years after the butler was released, he heard Pharaoh saying, I can't sleep. I lost sleep overnight. I had this dream that was very weird, followed by another dream. I'm not sure what's going on. It seems like there is some kind of a message here for me. He was like disturbed. So the butler remembered Joseph. He said, I know a man who told me that I was going to be released in 3 days. He said, get him here. They went to prison. They got Joseph out. And Joseph found out that the first dream, there were 7 good cows, heavy, well-fed cows, came out of the water, and all of a sudden, followed by 7 skinny, sick cows. And suddenly the seven cows, the skinny ones, ate up and swallowed the good, fat, well-fed ones. So then the second one, the wheat, the barley, he found 7 well, heavy ones full of wheat, suddenly followed by 7 skinny ones, dry, withered ones. So the skinny ones swallowed the good ones. So he said, I lost sleep over this. What is going on? So Joseph told him. He said, I heard you were good about explaining the dreams. He said, it's not me. It's my God. Is there another God here? There is no God except Pharaoh, except my gods. He said, no, the God of heaven. شوفوا how strong he was. And when he was very strong in his testimony, he made Pharaoh respect him. Pharaoh respected him. How could you, Pharaoh, respect a prisoner that was there for 13 years? Because he said his God would do these things. وإحنا بنروح المدرسة sometimes. I'm afraid to say I'm Christian. Kids will make fun of me. I'm afraid to say Merry Christmas. I don't want anybody to hear that I'm celebrating Christmas. I'll say Happy Holidays. I'm afraid that I tell people that I go to church, because if I do, they may not be my friends anymore. Oh, I'm so sad. Wait a minute. What have we gone through to be even close to what David has gone, to what Joseph has gone through? Nothing. And because of this, Pharaoh decided to hire, he said, what is the best solution for this? And then he was advised to have someone who is honest and smart enough to be able to work in the first 7 years that would be full of abundant food, save, and then followed by the other 7 years that there will be nothing at all. There will be a big famine, starvation, so at least they would be prepared. When this happened, Joseph was able to save the world, including his brothers. So we know the story. Let us back compare ourselves with Joseph. You could be the only student in the entire whole school that truly honest towards God's commandments, and nobody else. You could be. And I'm sure there will be more, but they're also embarrassed to reveal their faith. Be the strong one. Because if you do that, if you're honest, God is going to be with you. God is not going to walk away from you. When everybody is doing wrong things, Martin, can you please come here, Habibi? تعال اقعد هنا. هنا. Next time هتبقى تاخد promotion تقعد next to me. So if anybody would like to be promoted and sit next to me, yeah, just make some noise كده واكت up وانا هاخدك على طول next to me. Okay, now, so talking about Joseph. Okay, do not underestimate. When God sends you, you could be the only one in your whole school or your whole class. Stand up very strongly and keep your faith. Be honest about it. Be proud of your God. Because when you do that, God is going to use you to serve his holy name. But don't say, well, what will my friends say about me? You know, this girl was my friend, But then I don't want to lose her as a friend. So we're trying to please people? Yeah, that girl that is your friend today, okay, she may not be your friend tomorrow. Or she may not be your friend next month. Because friends change, but God doesn't change. God never changes. Yes, yeah, Vicky. Yeah, it starts all over. Because you could be friend one day and then they may not talk to you and then they become your friend again and again and again. But you know what? You do not do anything against what God said. You have to, okay? Insist in being a good Christian. You know when you do that, what happens? People start respecting you and they start respecting God because of you. So when you go to school, put in your mind, I am here to follow what God said. I am here exactly like Joseph was, one person in a whole country that was full of millions that didn't know anything about God. I am in a school where not many know God. Maybe some of them do, maybe some of them don't. But I will have the same attitude like Joseph did. And when you do this, God is going to be with you and God will make you a successful person. At the very end, you look at the story, there was a happy ending. What is the happy ending? Everybody, even the brothers, they found out that Joseph is their brother, the one who saved the world. So God lifts, God puts you up. Even if the picture looks bad at the beginning, but God lifts you up. Any questions? Yes, yeah, David. Okay? Yes, yeah, Joya. Okay, forgot your question. When you remember your question, let me know. Okay? So now, okay, we are going to have 10 minutes break. If you need to eat, wait. No, nobody moves. Listen. By the way, let me talk about some of the تقفل اللايف ستريم please يا هنيل. بصوا حبايبي, let us abide to the rules. Okay? So when we say we're going to have 10 minutes to grab something to eat, then it's 10 minutes.